Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Mass Effect. In the last episode, we took out what we thought were the two remaining Geth outposts in the Armstrong Nebula. Actually, it turns out there's a hidden fifth one, which is in this system, the Grissom system. I mentioned last episode that all the systems in the Armstrong Nebula were named after famous astronauts. Grissom is a famous astronaut, but he is not real. He's only in the Mass Effect world, but he's kind of was one of the early pioneers of like space travel in the Mass Effect universe, which is kind of cool. Anyway, this planet that we just started pointing at, fortunately enough, Benda, has something on it. Specifically, scans revealed an ancient Solarian vessel. A small team was dispatched to search for valuables. The only item of value recovered was a League of One medallion. Then there is this planet just to the north, Zaharux, I guess, which, when scanned, gives us some beryllium. We already have a ton of beryllium. But yes, one more thing is just over here. He says, not finding it. There we go. There is a rocky asteroid, and scanning the rocky asteroid gives us a deposit of polonium. We must have got almost all the polonium in the game now. Anyway, our real target is not Notanban, but the tiny planet next to Notanban, Solcrum. Awesome name. And yeah, it's got a bit of a heat hazard, so be wary of that. But other than that, let's go to it. Solcrum is the largest moon of the gas giant Notanban. It has a trace atmosphere of krypton and xenon. The crust is composed of various metals with deposits of sodium. As with every body in this solar system, the surface is scorchingly hot and thoroughly irradiated by the blue giant Grissom. Surface excursions without proper protective gear are certain to prove fatal. On approach to Notanban, Normandy's passive sensor array intercepted a fragmentary coded transmission from the surface of Solcrum. Attempts to decrypt the message were fruitless. It does not appear to be in any software coding language used by the Citadel racers. Solcrum as well is a pretty just cool looking planet with the kind of... I like these ones that just have a really clear kind of something going on, like being that close to a kind of radioactive blue star, which is, as you heard from the description, doing nasty shit to everywhere, which is why there's no... Wow! Notanban being that close is probably the reason why this place doesn't have much of an atmosphere. But, as you can see from the map, it's not quite as flat as Antibar was last episode, but it's pretty flat, so it's navigating Solcrum isn't particularly challenging again, which is nice, because there's a lot of plateaus and stuff like that, and it's enjoyable, because... Obviously, the next few episodes still will be side questing before we get back to doing the next plot world, which is going to be Novaria. And the next couple of worlds I'm planning on doing are the most hideous for navigating. So I'm kind of making the most of planets like this, like Solcrum and Antibar, while I have the chance, because next time... you're lucky, I cut all of this out usually, unless I'm here talking shit, but usually you don't have to observe me attempting to crawl up vertical rock faces and not being particularly successful. Here's another element that we seem to be getting an absolute ton of, which is thorium. Thorium, beryllium, and polonium seem to have been the most common ones around. It should be kind of randomish, but it's not. But yeah, bit of thorium. As you can see, there's the hazard building up, so obviously you don't want to stay out of the Mako too long. We're going to head over to the south and east to the second point there, which is also a mineral deposit. And at the top of this kind of little mountain we seem to have found ourselves up, there is, in fact... Oh, we're parked on it. I was like, where is it? I can't find it. We were literally parked on it. Getting out of the Mako is going to be interesting here, because I don't think we're going to find anywhere flat enough to... Oh, no, okay. Let's... Oh, there we... Oh, shit. Well, things are going to get interesting now, because this is some uranium, but I'm not sure how we are going to get back up to the Mako, and the heat hazard is building. This is problematic. Actually, nope. We're going to die. We are literally going to... Can I return to the I can't return to... Oh, I can return to the Normandy. That's the only way of surviving this. Really? Can I not just kind of walk up the side? Any other world, this wouldn't be so much of a problem, but it's the fact that we have the heat hazard. It's weird that there is a heat hazard on this world as well, because it doesn't look particularly hot. But I guess it's just because it's a blue star. You expect them to be scorching and red. Oh, God, wow. Shit. I'm going to go back to the Normandy, and I will see you in a second. So, of course, when you return to the Normandy, everything you've done on the planet is saved. Like, don't worry about that. It just means that then you respawn back at the... wherever the kind of Mako started the first time. You don't respawn from where you left it. So that's a minor irritant, but other than that, it's not so bad. So we're heading to the kind of south... You can just see on the edge of the radar, the kind of southmost point of the kind of points of interest I've marked on the map. And I Where is it? I should be able to see it by now. Unless it's... Oh, it's on the other side of this rock thing. I'll see you over there. So, up here is an Asari capsule. This is a bit of a dead giveaway as to what's in it, but hey, oh, can you guess what it's going to be? Surprise! There are several artifacts stored here, all worthless except for one of Matriarch Dylanaga's writings. Whether it was uncovered at this dig site or elsewhere is unclear. What dig site? This isn't a dig site at all. Anyway, over to the east from here. No, west even. I can never get east and west the right way around. It's really weird. I can do left and right, just not east and west. Anyone who watched The Wind Waker will understand that exactly, because I fucked that up a lot in that Let's Play. Anyway, yeah, over to the west is rubble. I will see you there. By now, you must have noticed an unfortunate thing about this game, that because we've done so many in succession, you must now be starting to notice that basically... No, get off, I want to... Yeah. The side quests in this game are terribly repetitive, unfortunately. The kind of landing on a... The whole thing of just, like, landing on a remote world, exploring it, kind of getting minerals, Asari capsule, stuff like that. It is all quite repetitive. It seems like they kind of really just wanted filler content, basically. And it's something that, fortunately, is fixed by kind of future games, especially in, like, Mass Effect 2. Basically, for me, you'll hear me going on about it a lot, but Mass Effect 2, for me, is the rare gaming example of a holy grail sequel. That is, a sequel that perfectly expands on both the ideas and the gameplay concepts and stuff like that introduced in the first one, perfectly enough whilst keeping the kind of fundamental game and the feeling behind it the same. It only makes improvements and does it spectacularly, like... And it's just so rare to get that in games that most times, like, sequels try and somehow set themselves apart from the game that they are a sequel to, but of course that's not necessarily what you want to do. What you often want to do is just make it an improvement upon that game. And I believe Mass Effect 2 does that perfectly, which is why it's my favourite in the series, and potentially one of my favourite games of all time. But of course, for a YouTube channel, I couldn't just start with Mass Effect 2, that would have been weird. So I am planning to do it eventually, and of course, if this series is well received, I will do Mass Effect 2 soonish. If it isn't well received, I'll do it eventually anyway, because I want to do it, because it's a brilliant game, and I love it, and I really want to kind of spread that. Anyway, that's some magnesium, and that's a level up, weirdly enough. Yeah, but obviously I didn't want to just launch straight into Mass Effect 2, I wanted to kind of start with this one first. Anyway, there is only 1 point left, which is, of course, therefore, the Geth outpost, which we might just be able to see once we are over this rise. No, we won't. I will cut to over there. Now you can see from the map that there's a lot of baddies around this one, including 2 of those big kind of markers on the map which indicate some kind of terrifying weapons platform. And indeed, there are... well, a damn wall is what there is. There are 2 Colossi guarding it, which is a whole heap of fun. So just the standard Colossus fighting technique applies of basically keep moving, specifically moving left and right to make sure their shots won't really be able to focus on you. As long as you do that, you'll be fine, but if you don't do that, you will be completely screwed. And also be aware of the possibility for ramming them. Oh, I'm in reverse, shit, I thought I was going forward. Yeah, ramming them is also a pretty good tactic for just knocking them off their feet and getting a real chance to welly on them. Here, oh, bollocks, not this again. Oh, I thought it got stuck in my grill like all that happened on Theorem that time. Ramming them is also a pretty decent tactic for if you want to try and take them out on foot, but I'm not really going to do that here because of the heat hazard makes that generally not being in the Mako is a bit of a bad idea on this planet, so if you stay behind them as well, they can't actually fire shots like 180 degrees behind them. They can turn around pretty fast, but it's definitely a tactic, but their shots are still pretty slow moving, so they're fairly easy to dodge. Then once you finish with them, just a bit of cleanup of a rocket trooper there, and a rocket trooper there. Dude, I'm impressed you survived that. But anyway, once we've kind of got them all, we can hop in here into the real base. I'm going to save first because there's a hell of a battle coming up. No, actually, I'm going to do my leveling up first because for some reason I haven't done that. So I'm going to give myself... What to do? I'll give myself a 1 in fitness to get immunity. Immunity is incredibly useful, and I'll give another 1 in just commando, I guess. Yeah, immunity is exactly what it sounds like. You just become immune, and it's brilliant. You just basically take almost no damage for as long as it lasts. You can have 1 in electronics, get a bit more of a kind of sabotage thing, and yeah, I'm going to save because this is potentially a hard fight coming up. So, obviously we're jammed because... That's a really big empty room. Because there's a lot of Geth up ahead. I'm going to switch myself onto my pistols. Garrus can be on assault rifles. Tali on shotguns. And this is going to be a horrific firefight. Oh, I've got 7 grenades. There's destroyers up on the kind of side. You can there's basically stalkers and ghosts flying around. Up on the kind of catwalk above it's either a prime or a destroyer. I'm not entirely sure which. I've just equipped those kind of big tungsten rounds I got recently, so they should really help me. This is the other issue in this place, is that almost all of the cover there, it's a juggernaut, almost all the cover that you have is destructible, like these boxes, and that makes this an incredibly short fight. As the last Geth falls, you hear music from across the room. On the monitor, a Quarian stands before a hushed crowd, warbling a mournful a cappella of worlds and innocence lost. The recorded song is dispatched to the Geth worlds behind the Perseus Veil. The transmitter shuts down. I love that. We have that poignant thing and then doosh as the ghost falls on the ground. But yeah, that's always a short but potentially difficult fight just because everything goes nuts really fast. But tungsten ammo, you'll be fine. Through here is the kind of things that we want for doing this. There are some rounds in there. There's some cool shit in here, probably. Bleep, bloop, bleep, blap, bloop. Ooh, Firestorm 6. That's a nice shotgun. Tsunami, Jesus. Some cool shit in there. But, of real interest, that we have technically now completed the quest. With that kind of note coming up, we have completed it. But there's this Geth terminal here, and if we decrypt it, this then starts a new quest. Which is... well, you'll see in a second. You discover a number of encrypted Geth data files. In the proper hands, they could reveal much about the evolution of the Geth since the banishment of the Quarians. Download data. And as you can see, that gives us the Tali and the Geth quest, because she is clearly, apparently, the right hand for it. Even though she is literally here with us. We cannot give her the data here. Has to be back on the Normandy. So, we will head there and give that to her. So, back down on the engineering level of the Normandy, we can therefore come and have a little chat with Tali about the Geth data we just obtained.
Shepard, I need to talk to you. It's important.
Is something wrong?
You know the data you took from those Geth control nodes? The information you uploaded to Alliance Control? I want a copy of it.
You want to bring this data back to the migrant fleet?
Those files have information that could be vital to our efforts to understand the Geth. It could be the key to helping us reclaim our homeworld.
You think you can use this information to destroy your enemy?
Not right away. We will need to study it. It could take years, but it will give us new insight into how the Geth have changed and evolved over the past centuries.
Go ahead, make a copy.
My people, I owe you a great debt, one I can never repay. The only thing I can offer in return is what you already have. My solemn promise to stay with you until Saren and his Geth armies are defeated.
I never wanted anything more.
Thank you, Shepard.
So, that's a nice little kind of thing that just helps show that Tali's not just... Tali actually gets something for her people, for her pilgrimage, kind of out of this being on the Normandy thing, so I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, we did that a lot quicker than I thought. But, let's just... well, actually, before we end with the squad mate conclusion, if we head back up to the galaxy map...
Message from Admiral Hackett, Commander. Patching it through.
We just received your report. Looks like this Geth incursion was bigger than we thought. They were probably preparing for a major offensive in the system. We're increasing patrols in the Armstrong cluster to make sure they can't establish another foothold in the region. Nice job, Shepard. You saved a lot of human lives on this mission. Hack it out.
I just thought, rather than having that summary at the beginning of next episode, when we're about to do something different, it made more sense to conclude it this episode, especially since it's only been less than 15 minutes, so we've actually got a ton of time, so we're going to ride the slow elevator back down again, and end with a conversation with a squad mate. Specifically, with Ashley.
Commander?
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
Sure. I was hoping to get a minute of your time. Off the record.
I keep an open door policy. If you have any concerns, lay them on me.
All right. I know things are different aboard the Normandy, but I'm I'm concerned about the aliens, Vicarian and Rex. With all due respect, Commander, should they have full access to the ship?
You don't trust their motives because they're not human.
This is the most advanced ship in the Alliance Navy. I don't think we should give them free rein to poke around the vital systems. Engines, sensors, weapons.
You don't trust the Alliance's allies?
I'm not sure I'd call the Council races allies. We, humanity, have to learn to rely on ourselves.
How do you get from relying on ourselves to mistreating our allies?
I don't mean we should mistreat them, Commander. I just think we should be prepared to go it without them. As noble as the Council members seem now, if their backs are against the wall, they'll abandon us.
I don't see that as inevitable.
Look, if you're fighting a bear and the only way for you to survive is to sick your dog on it and run, you'll do it. As much as you love your dog, it isn't human. It's not racism, not really. Members of their species will always be more important to them than humans are.
You sound like one of those Terra Firma party pamphlets, Chief.
Terra Firma is a pack of jackals. The founders had ideals. These days they just play off xenophobia and bigotry. I hope my reasons are more rational. My father, grandfather, great-grandmother, they all picked up a rifle and swore the oath of service. I guess we just tend to think of Earth's interests as our own.
All right, I can see where your concerns are coming from, Williams. But this is a multilateral mission. You're gonna have to work with aliens, like it or not.
It won't be a problem, Commander. You say jump, I say how high. You tell me to kiss a Turian, I'll ask which cheek.
I don't think kissing Turians will be necessary.
You never know, Commander.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am.
So, we have a bit of a background onto Ashley there, and I've talked in the past about why that I am not such a fan of Ashley, but there we've seen one of the kind of points that she is, like she says, perhaps she's not racist, perhaps she is, that all kind of comes down to just definitions and stuff, but if not racist, you would definitely say borderline xenophobic, and that just makes her kind of slightly unappealing as a character. Like, obviously, I'm not saying there's anything, wrong with her actual, the way her character's been written. It's good. Character flaws are a good aspect of, plot design and stuff like that. But in terms of actually me liking her personality, that makes me less likely to do so, which is one of the reasons I often don't use her as much in normal playthroughs, but here I'm trying to give everyone kind of equal time. And so that's a good point to end the episode. So we have finally driven off the Geth incursion in the Armstrong Nebula. We've helped Tali out on a pilgrimage by giving her a bit of data, and next episode we've picked up a few more quests while we are in the Exogeny building on Feros, so we're just going to do a few more of those quests before we head off to another one of the plot worlds, Novaria. Thank you very much for watching. I've been the Doctor with the Infamous Gentleman, and this has been Mass Effect. Good day.